What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today. We're going to talk a little bit about the grading companies all being basically jammed up. We got a little State of the Union from friend of the channel, Pete, down in SGC land in Florida. Old Peter did one of his little Instagram videos basically saying, hey boys and girls, we are running slower than normal, which for them is usually pretty fast. They are saying they are now at about 15 to 20 business days as opposed to the 5 to 10 that they typically are, and that the active specials will be ending soon. We know PSA is still ridiculously backed up, and when I say ridiculously backed up for these places, I am not talking about like peak COVID times or anything like that. But PSA is running about 2 weeks behind. I believe CGC's had a pretty big influx in volume. Hell, even the tag bots have overrun tag. Beckett, well, they're still just kind of Beckett. So what I was curious about is, what exactly are they jammed up with? What is causing all this nonsense? I have a good suspicion that a lot of it is Pokemon, but I just wanted to see the data to back it up. So what do we do when we need grading data? We reach out to friend of the channel, the fantastic gemrate.com. Amazing website, free to use, all sorts of fun stuff over there. And I said, hey, Gemrate, what are the top 5 most graded sets in sports and TCG through the beginning of 2025? Now, do keep in mind that there is lag time here. So, what is hitting the pop report is stuff from a month or two ago, depending on the service level that it was sent in at. So we're not seeing a perfect picture, but we are getting an idea because most of, PSA has been jammed up since the beginning of the year, really since Christmas. SGC's been trending that direction for a few months now. So this is still going to give us a glimpse into kind of what's really driving all this traffic at the various grading places. So we're going to look at the big 4: PSA, SGC, CGC, and Beckett. We'll obviously do a full month-end recap here early next week once March ends. But for this, we're just going to look at what's been getting graded the first 3 months, or what's been hitting the pop report the first 3 months of 2025. Before we do that, shout out to today's video sponsor, the Penny Sleever. That is right, the pennysleever.com, and they have a host of new products. All sorts of stuff. I'm not a vintage guy per se, but they have a bunch of new products for vintage cards. Do you need sleeves for Gaudy? Do you need sleeves for 48 and 50 Bowman? What about 50 and 51 Bowman? They have them for you. Go over to thepennysleever.com. You can go to shop, new arrivals, and it will show you all the new products that they have. While you're there, you can get free shipping on any order of $59 and up, and you could get 10% off with code NEOCARDS. So let's go ahead and pop over to our Gemrate data here. So we have each company broken down, TCG Sport, and then the top 5 graded in 2025. We also have the all-time total and the previous period, so if you could see if there's any big jump ups or not. Let's start with PSA. This one on the TCG side was not super surprising. I was a little surprised on the baseball side of things, but more on that in a second. So on the TCG side of things, Pokemon Terrestrial Festival, that is the Japanese version of Prismatic Evolutions. 167,000 so far in 2025. Holy cow. Just, we'll look at sports for a quick second. The number 1 sports set is Prism Football. It has 34,000. The Japanese version has 167,000 of Prismatic Evolutions. Pokemon 151, 92,000. Surging Sparks, 83,000. Crown Zenith, 67,000. And then the Japanese version of 151, 64,000. Spoilers, if I do this again in 3 more months, I have a sneaking suspicion the next quarter of data that English Prismatic Evolution will be very high on this list. A lot of that is probably sitting in the various grading companies' receiving rooms right now. But the crazy thing here is just look at those top 5, the numbers, and then let's scroll down just a couple lines here. Here's the top 5 in sports. Prism Football, 2024, 35,000. 2023 Select Football, 23,000. Mosaic Football 2024, 22,000. 2024 Topps Chrome Update, 22,000. And then 2024 just base Donruss Football at 20,000. The highest sports set is still half of the 5th place Pokemon set. Let that sink in for a second. I have a sneaking suspicion the March gem rate numbers are going to have a massive amount of TCG on them. So, from PSA's standpoint, it's a ton of Pokemon, and it looks like a ton of Ultramodern Football is what's really jamming things up, which isn't surprising when you think about it. The basketball releases right now are not great because the rookie class is not good. And I don't know if a lot of that stuff would even be hitting on this pop report. That'll probably be more so on the next one. So we're still seeing a lot of that recent release Prism Football, or just Panini Football in general. And then the Topps Chrome update sneaking in there, as that was a pretty late release at the end of last year. So that would have all got sent in like December and is now starting to hit the pop report. So that's PSA's numbers. The one thing that really caught me off guard here, and we'll talk about it now with CGC. When I looked at these numbers, it really showed me the relevance of PSA and SGC compared to CGC and Beckett with the sets that they are getting, the type of cards that they are getting so far to start off 2025. Here's CGC's TCG numbers. Number 1, Terrestrial Festival. Again, that's the Japanese Prismatic Evolution. 42,000. So a pretty strong number. We know CGC does well in TCG. The second one, 1994 Simplified Chinese phone cards. 36,000 of them. Almost 37,000 of them. Now, CGC does have a big presence in Asia, so I don't know if those are being directly submitted over there or not, but that's a lot of phone cards. They have 180,000 on the pop report already. We have more Scarlet and Violet Pokemon at just under 30,000, Pokemon 151 Japanese at 28,000, and then V-Star Universe Japanese Pokemon at 25,000. So, of the top 5 TCG sets for CGC, 3 of them are Japanese, 1 is Chinese phone cards from the 90s, and then 1 English set. A very odd assortment, shall we say. The CGC Sports one, we know CGC Sports doesn't exactly put up eye-popping numbers every month, but this one is even weirder. 2023 Donruss Football by a mile. 30,000 cards for some reason. That seems weird when the number 2, 3, and 4 sets are DAKA AC Milan Soccer. I believe those are for repacks. Don't quote me on that, but that feels like someone was grading those for repacks. The 5th place category is Topps Now at 1,700. So, we look at the monthly gem rate data every single month, and you see these like, oh, This company did 150,000. This company did 200,000. This company did 50,000. But we don't really ever question what makes that up. I know GemRates kind of try to do that with the iconic tracker to see which grading companies are actually getting meaningful cards. But boy, oh boy, some of them, we're not done yet. Wait till we get to Beckett's numbers. Some of these grading companies are just really, the numbers almost seem fluffed up with nonsense. Like, how many people are flocking to CGC for 2023 Donruss football? That feels like something for a repack as well, along with all those soccer releases. Next up, SGC Sports. And this looks more normalized. This looks very similar to PSA's numbers, actually, in regards to rankings, not quantity. Obviously, SGC gets a lot less cards than PSA does. Number 1, Prism Football 2024. Number 2, Mosaic Football 2024. Donruss Football 2024. Optic Football 2023. And Topps Chrome Update Baseball. So 4 out of the 5 on the SGC list are the same as PSA. With the one exception being Optic Football 2023 sliding in there. But the numbers are, decent, but it just looks small compared to PSA. 11,000, 10,000, 9,000, just under 9,000, and 7,000. So about a third of what PSA is doing at each individual category there. But still very strong. Way better than when you look at CGC's numbers. Like, what's the relevant set here on CGC Sports outside of Topps now? Really nothing. And this is topping out at 1,700. So this really shows you of the new release product, how much of that is going to which grading company. Beckett. This, in TCG, it's not that bad. Let's start there. The overall numbers are low. Once again, we have Terrestrial Festival making another appearance. Only 3,200 is the total. We have 151, and then we have 2 one-piece sets, and then some more Pokemon. But look at the overall total numbers. These are the top TCG sets graded so far in 2025. The number 1 set is only at 3,000 cards. That is awful low. I should note, by the way, because I forgot to mention this earlier, SGC TCG, we didn't forget about it. They just hardly graded any at all. So, and it backs it up by their numbers. They only do about 3,000 or 4,000 TCG cards per month. So there really isn't even enough there to worth show. But yeah, Beckett TCG, number 1 at 3,200. I mean, comparing them to PSA is not really a fair comparison, but PSA's number 1 was 170,000. So not surprising there on the set showing up. I'm not surprised to see One Piece on here. I've talked about this in the past. People use Beckett to chase black labels. Now, let's move to the Factory of Sadness. And I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I am well aware of Factories of Sadness. The Beckett sports numbers, almost made me depressed. Scroll down and look at these real quick. The number 1 set that Beckett Sports has graded, Topps Now 2024 Baseball at 6,000 cards. The number 2 set, Panini Instant WNBA. Number 3, Donruss Football 2023. Number 4, Bowman University Now Basketball at 1,000 cards. And number 5, 2024 Topps Now Football, which is unlicensed, 957. 4 of the 5 are instant products, which is people chasing black labels. 1 is just 2023 based Donruss Football. There are 2 very concerning things about this little subsection of list. The fact that, and once again, this is not surprising, I did a video on this 6-8 months ago, maybe. Beckett's reliance on the instant products is scary. Absolutely scary. The quantity graded is my second big takeaway here on how irrelevant they are on modern releases. There is not, other than 2023 Donruss football, which only did 1,000 cards in basically 3 months, because we're at the end of March. They're not grading a single modern release more than 1,000 cards. Like Prism Football doesn't even show up on here. Prism Football for SGC was their number one. Where is that number at? 11,000. And at PSA, it was 35,000. It didn't even crack 950 here. This is the problem with Beckett right now. They're not getting any volume from just your average everyday release. Like if Prism Football with Jaden Daniels can't even crack their top 5, that's frightening. And when 4 out of the 5 aren't even actually mainline releases, it's just all black label chasing, that's scary too. So originally the idea of this video was, what is backing up the grading companies? And it's clear it's Ultra Modern Football and Modern Pokemon. What I wasn't expecting to find is the weakness in Beckett and CGC's grading numbers. And what I mean by weakness is it's not so much CGC has the quantities. They have the numbers. But the lack of substance of the sets scares me. Beckett, specifically for sports, it's twofold. The quantities scare me, and the lack of quality sets scare me. What do you all think about this? As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. I will catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.